The amount of kid slaves that are coming over is alarming. These kids come over with an address written on their arm, and they have to ship them to these people. They're being traded into I can't even say the word on here. And what are they supposed to do with these kids? You can't send them back.
That's why I brought this up to you. It really disturbed me so much I called you on a Friday afternoon.
Two out of the three largest religious Facebook groups are ran by Russian bot farms.
This is a federally non-regulated industry. And so you have companies out there that don't look for your best intention, and they may come across as very professional and very glamorous with their representation. But to me, it's criminal. I got to go back and tell my wife this. Are you kidding me? There's got to be something I can do, right? I mean, it's awful.
That
It's
pisses
really,
me off
truly
so
awful.
bad.
Because if you don't, you never grow. You learn more and more about less and less until you know everything about nothing.
This week's specials at Miles Franklin are the 1-ounce gold Volcambi bars, $59 over spot, 1-ounce palladium bars, $119 over spot. Last but not least, backdated silver maples, $339 over spot. Email me or call me, slayer@milesfranklin.com. I will hook you up. Not only am I offering you weekly specials, great prices, a massive inventory, and a personal business connection with me, which you'll see in this video is extremely important, but also I'm giving away a lot of free silver to two of you. All you have to do is click one button. We approach 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to be jumping out of an airplane announcing both winners right before I jump out with the GoPro attached to my helmet, so you will watch the whole thing unfold. You will be celebrating winning silver while at the same time I'm falling, hopefully not to my death. But anyways, folks, we are about to jump into a very serious and important conversation I had with Andy, and I really hope you guys soak this in, because what he is about to say is beyond disturbing, illegal, shocking, and it's so important to stress the points he's making. Also, watch the full episode. I will link it in the description because it is by far the best podcast episode I've ever done and probably ever seen on YouTube in terms of silver stacking advice, knowledge, information, and entertainment. So with that said, enjoy. Another thing that I wanted to cover before I forget is the stuff we talked about on the phone the other day. You called me and you said, hey, you have a client or someone and you saw his portfolio and it was something that you wanted us to talk about on this podcast because it is very serious and it's something that I think is extremely overlooked. So if you wanted to mention that, I feel like we should definitely bring that to the surface.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm a big advocate of when you have a platform and you speak publicly, that you do so with decorum, that you do so with class and respect. And I will not mention the name of the company as much as I would like to, because that's not who I am. And I don't believe on elevating myself by stepping on others. But I will tell you, as God is my witness, that it is a very big sore spot with me. Companies that are in essence using the fact that this industry is federally non-regulated. And by the way, that's why I left my corporate office in Minneapolis, even though I moved to Florida 3 years ago, where we've had a satellite office for almost 2 decades, because Minnesota is the only state that holds us and any metals company either selling into the state or domiciled in the state, holds us to accountable, holds us accountable for our actions. It's the only state where you have to be licensed and bonded and background checked annually to maintain a metals license. And this federally non-regulated industry allows companies to push the envelope to the nth degree, disseminating half-truths and really harming people. And a lot of it has to centers around the IRAs. Most of it does. The companies that specifically speak to IRA purchases are doing some very awful things. And if the owner of these companies were sitting in front of me, I would debate him wide open in front of the whole world to see, and he would lose. This particular client had bought quarter-ounce gold coins for $900 a piece. And in my career, which is 34 years, I've never sold a quarter-ounce bullion coin for $900 a piece. That would put it at $3,600 melt value. They were buying 1 ounce silver coins for almost $60 a piece. And all of these coins were coins that, I do this every day and have been since I was 19 years old. And when I Google these coins, I say, oh, okay, I know who the mint is. The mints can be very reputable, but the coins themselves, I don't know what the hell they are. And that should say something. I've been doing this for 34 years and done 10 billion in sales nearly, and I don't know what the hell these coins are, but they're being sold under the guise of being special. And I want people to know that whenever I sell coins, look, if I had my druthers, I would buy nothing but pre-1933 gold coins and Morgan dollars and peace dollars. I understand them. I've been doing this for 3.5 decades. I understand what numismatics are, but to me, numismatics are pre-1933 US period, like the coins behind me. Those are true pieces of Americana. What these dealers are doing is that they're selling modern minted coins, most of them fractional in weight, half ounce, quarter ounce, 1.5 ounces, 3/4 of an ounce, whatever. And they're being sold under the guise of, no, this is what you want. The potential is amazing. They're limited edition, the American Eagle and the gold bullion buffalo. And, those are just common coins. You don't want those. And even some will talk about confiscation, how these special numismatic brand new coins are safe. Bullshit. They're not safe from confiscation. A desperate government will do desperate things. Pre-1933 coins were written into legislation as being collectible, and the executive order that talked about gold confiscation said coins minted prior to 1933 would be exempt, and it was dentists, jewelers, and coin collectors of pre-33 gold that would have been given the exemption, and who knows if that would even stand up. That's why a lot of people bought the pre-33 stuff. I bought it for the first 20 years of my career because it was nearly the same price as gold bullion, and you have better upside potential. The confiscatory side of things, oh, that was okay, cool. That's an added bonus, but that is never really why I bought it. But what is happening is that these companies are selling modern minted quarter ounce gold coins at levels that these people will never get their money out of them. And they are being lied to as the rationale for it. These are very big companies that are using, in many cases, company spokesmen, wealthy individuals or public figures that are well known to speak about the merits of these companies. At the same time, they are literally pillaging their clients. And I do damage control with a lot of these people, and I'm horrified by what I see. And the thing of it is if the CEO of these companies were sitting right here in front of me and he wasn't lying through his teeth, and I said, if this was your mom and dad, how would you feel about it? And he would look me in the face and say, you're right, but I can get away with it. And all I'm simply saying to you is this, that for everyone out there, when you're buying gold and silver coins, whether it be in an IRA or outside of an IRA, you think of a vanilla hot fudge sundae. You start, unless you're 6 years old, and fill a bowl with sprinkles and cherries and hot fudge, and then a little scoop of ice cream is kind of what they're talking about, except the sprinkles are rancid as far as I'm concerned. And the hot fudge, it's old and it's really not good anymore. And even if you think this is something rare, it ain't, because if I don't know what it is, and I'm going to bid melt value on the damn thing, well, then or even behind melt value, because there's something in this industry called the cost of carry. And if this is a gold coin that no one knows what it is and it sits on my shelf forever, I bought it from someone, it sits on my shelf and none of my people sell it, no one asks for it, it just sits there and collects dust, that's cost of carry. And so we would then bid right behind spot, 99.5%, melt it down or sell it to someone who wants it. The point of it is that these companies are destroying people's lives, mostly through IRAs at a time in their life when they can't get that money back. And they are being told this is the thing to do for bogus reasons, whether it be profit potential or confiscation. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And there are people being really, 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 really hurt. So what do? You buy a bowl of vanilla ice cream, American Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, 1 ounce gold bars, 1 ounce silver rounds, 1 ounce silver Eagles, 1 ounce silver maples. And that's it. I mean, you can do kangaroos and philharmonics, but nothing rare, nothing esoteric, nothing goofy, nothing where if you look up that coin that they're recommending and Google it and it doesn't pop up on every other company's website in the country, it's bullshit and it's going to harm you. And when you're paying $800 or $900 for a quarter ounce coin, gold coin, when the price of gold is $2,050, let's say, it's I can sell you a brand new gold, quarter ounce gold eagle, which have high premiums for, for $1,000 an ounce less, or $250 less per coin than what these people are paying, or way more than that, actually. I mean, I'm doing off the top of my head, but you're talking, no, it would be roughly, let me just look. If it's more than 560, $70, and it's too much. And these people are paying $900 for a quarter ounce coin I've never heard of, or $60 for a 1 ounce silver coin, or 90 or 110 for a 2 ounce silver coin. And all of this stuff is goofy stuff I've never heard of that are being sold by companies that pose as being very reputable and are destroying people's futures. And I mean that. And I'm not being bitter. And I'm not saying this to talk my book or to get you to call me. I'm just simply saying, if you are talking to companies that primarily focus on IRAs, and this is the path they lead you down, or into proof coins, you are being led down a very dark alley in a very bad neighborhood with some very bad people. And there ain't anyone there to help you when you fall. You can contact us. We will give you a non-obligatory assessment. We'll tell you what you got, and we'll be straight with you. And I don't say this to get into fights with other companies, so I'm not mentioning their names. I mean, you can go to the Washington Post, and there's an article that they wrote not too long ago that lists names of several of these companies who are under investigation. Many of them who will sell under one name, they get in big trouble, pay a fine, and then open up under another name, very close to it, but different. And, I just want people to understand that when we sell metals, it is about selling wealth, not potential. You want potential, you want some cherries and some hot fudge, fine. Buy pre-1933 US gold coins, period. Do not buy the modern minted anything, any story. Don't do it. You will not get your money out of it. Chances are you're being ripped off. And here's the truth of it. The truth of it is, and now that you've been in this industry with me a little bit, you will know what I'm saying to be true, is that this is an industry where markups are minuscule. And the way that you succeed and become successful is to do a crap load of business. And if you don't do a crap load of business, then you need to make up a story, and a story that allows you to sell things at much higher markups than we would ever do. And I find it to be deplorable. I mark things up just a few percent. These companies are marking things up hundreds of percent, where the people, most of them elderly, are screwed. Period. Will be screwed and will never get their money back until gold and silver go above $50 an ounce and above 4,000 an ounce before it starts to really make sense. And in that environment, no one's going to give a crap what the design is on your coin. And that's why I say buy gold American Eagles, buy gold American Buffaloes, buy silver American Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, Australian Kangaroos, South African Krugerrands. 1 ounce, nothing proof, nothing special. Now, if you want to get some fractional coins, let it be a very small portion of your holdings. 90%, 80% 1 ounce, 10 or 20% fractional, 1/10, 1/4, 1/2. Nothing proof, nothing proof. And you'll be okay. It's these companies that are saying that recommendation that I just made is a bad one, are the ones that are full of shit. And they're the ones that are harming you. And if you opened up my vaults around the country where I have things stored in Brinks, you would see everything I am saying to you is what I own. I would rather own something like that. Everyone I talk to, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll take it. Here's what it's worth. Boom. And you're calling me the owner of a company that's done almost 10 billion in sales for 34 years, and I have no idea what the hell these coins are. I Google them and find out what mint it is. And then like, oh, okay, well, I see why they're making a story, because no one carries this stuff. So it must be a special story. It's not. It's just being industrious as a criminal. It's being devious and it's being unethical. And I call it criminal. It is criminal in my mind, because the story that they are putting forth to these people, when these people really find out what it is that they own, are very often, destitute and embarrassed and humiliated and in some cases destroyed. And I don't mean to be dramatic. And this is real, and I keep seeing it. And I just want people to know, if you found yourself in this dilemma, you can give us a call. We'll tell you what we would do, and we'll tell you what it's really worth. And I will be completely transparent. And any company that's doing this that would like to challenge me on this publicly on your show, I'm more than welcome to do it. in a respectful manner, and respectful enough where I didn't mention the names of the companies, and I have their statements right here. I could show everyone the name of the companies. There's two or three I can show you right now, but I won't, because I'm respectful and do it the right way. But they know who they are, and it's just flat out wrong. And I ask every one of them who work for these companies, if this is your mom or dad, how would you feel? It's easy to do it to someone you can't see, but if it's mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, then what? And it's just flat out freaking wrong. So sorry to ramble. It is really anything that puts a very big dark circle black eye on this industry bothers me. I've worked for 34 years to maintain a good image and take care of people and build a business where people want to come back and work with us again by treating people fairly and being candid and being transparent. And everything that these companies are doing is the opposite. It is not candid. It is not transparent. It's not truthful. And if it is truthful, it's truthful halfway, where they say, certain things are like, for example, if you buy a British sovereign, it's safe from confiscation because it's pre-1933. Bullshit. The executive order says pre-1933 US minted. So when we talk about half truths, when we talk about, oh, and by the way, those British sovereigns shouldn't be sold for more than just a few percent over their melt value, not 90, 100, $200 over. This is what is happening. And it really is something that disturbs me to my core. So I'm glad that you gave me the platform to do this and to ramble, because if it's your mom or your grandfather, it would be a whole hell of a lot worse than just trying to alert people to the truth of what's happening.
Wow. Yeah, that's exact. I just made a video 2 days ago titled "A Cautionary Warning About Silver," explaining this exact same thing. I always tell people, before you buy that coin, think about how you'll be able to sell it.
That's the
And
best advice you can give someone, because liquidity is never factored in enough. And people in this industry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to hammer that point home, because people in this industry tend to be penny wise and pound foolish. And when you talk about liquidity, liquidity is really very important. You can have the greatest thing in the world, but in the end, if it's something that's not demanded or desired, how great really is it? You're living the entire time you own it under false assumptions that can put you in a very compromised position. So that is the best advice that you can take from this interview, is when you buy something, think of how easy it will be to sell something. And it's like a can of Coca-Cola. Anyone who's eaten a hamburger that's thirsty will like to take that can. But if it's some can of soda from Zimbabwe that no one's ever heard of, but it's rare and it's really special, well, great. But I'll pass. I'll drink some water. Thanks. I'm not trying to be goofball here. I'm just saying that really is very important.
yeah, I really do recommend people go watch that video. Like, I took my time on it. The first 5 years of my channel, this is all I talked about. But as I got more into economics and more into geopolitics, I kind of switched my content. But as I'm writing my book, I got back into this subject, and it brought back that love, that passion, because that's really like where my roots are. So I wanted to start making video. They don't get as many views, but it's not always about the views. But
But there are
yeah,
people who come to your channel that haven't been following you forever, that are
yeah,
coming here looking for information. And, if you've ever played sports like golf and you're having a hard time, you're slicing the ball, or you're hooking the ball, or you're topping the ball. Or, I used to play some really high level softball back in the day. And if you're having a hard time, driving the ball or staying down when you're fielding it, the first thing a coach will tell you is go back to basics. Go back to basics. Let's go back and, forget about what you're trying to do and go back to the basics. Well, you need to go back to the basics sometimes. And that's admirable. And I think that it's good that you do that, because not everyone, one of the mistakes that people like you and I can easily make is assuming that everyone has the same base of knowledge and understanding as we do, and many don't. And we're not born with this innate knowledge. And so going back to the basics and talking to people about the do's and the don'ts, because let me tell you, I'm talking to people every single day lately. That's why I brought this up to you. It really disturbed me so much. I called you on a Friday afternoon to say, this is really bugging me. We need to talk about this, because I kept watching. And it's like calling these people back, I want to do as bad as I want another hole in my head, because it's like when you call someone and say, yeah, you got royally by the way, and yeah, I know you think you have $800,000, but it might be worth 375, and to to feel that anguish and embarrassment and humiliation. And I got to go back and tell my wife this. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's got to be something I can do, right? I mean, it's awful.
That
It's
pisses
really,
me off
truly
so
awful.
bad. Especially like my clients are my subscribers, my fans. So I have a personal, this is why, see, here's the thing. If you buy from some random site online, you don't know who that person's name is. They don't know who you are. There's no personal connection. If there was a problem, you're talking to their customer service team. With us, you can call me. I will fix it. If I can't, Andy will. He said a word, damage control. This is why, and it's not even about making money. I can offer you guys a safe place to buy. I'm not trying to say this to put money in my pockets because of shit like Andy's saying.
And I know this about you, and that's why, I'm several years your senior, and the minute I talked with you, I knew that you were the kind of person I wanted to associate with, because relationships are very important, and it's something that this, as more technologies come into play, that we've gone away from, but I never have. And my clients will tell you that I answer their cell phone calls, I answer their texts, and because where we're heading in this world, relationships go a long way. And I know that I've entrusted my business with you to where the point I know that you will represent it the right way. And that's important. And that means something. And I don't think you ever realize how big that is until you have a problem. And when you
Mm,
have a problem and someone answers the phone and says, I'm going to make this right, don't worry, versus having to leave an email or a voicemail and hope someone gets back to you promptly as your anxiety level grows and grows and grows. That's one of the things that we're very good at. And that's why I knew you'd want to talk about this, well, because you do care, and so do I. And people who don't care are short-sighted in life and in business, and they have very poor careers and very poor relationships, not just business, but also personally. And when you care, it goes a long way to show the character of the person that you are, which is everything. And in a world where that kind of thing has been forgotten a little bit. Everything is so impersonal and cold, and text and email and voicemail. And, I think it goes a long way to say, yeah, I work with them, and he'll watch this. He'll answer if I call him, and you know what? He'll take care of me. And if not, he'll call me right back. And if there's a problem, we'll make it right. And so I'm glad you said that
yeah.
as well.